mics, we're good. Welcome everyone to game 1 of Concordia University versus Brandeis University. The first game of the Collegiate League of Legends season. I'm joined by JD.
Hello, hello.
And myself, Demi, as usual, Concordia Esports, man of everything. So today we have an interesting game. So Concordia Esports, Concordia University, last week spent the time boot camping and preparing for the college LoL season. And today is their first kind of showing of how strong they are. I expect some interesting games. Already an interesting ban in Illinois and Leona. Okay. So, what do you think about the matchup today versus Brandeis, Jordan? Are we gonna see a one-sided game? I know I showed you the clips of last week's games.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be one-sided. It definitely will be interesting. It's both teams, to my understanding's first game, so there's gonna be a little bit of rustiness, perhaps, to a certain extent. There's a little bit of difference between practice and actual competitive play. So it should be interesting to see how it pans out, if it's gonna affect, if they're gonna be ready, or if it's gonna blow up, perhaps in someone's face. Hopefully not.
So already the Ornn being picked up by Concordia. Ornn, general overall power pick this season so far, is just sheer tankiness and percentile health damage with his W. It makes him pretty much ungankable in the top lane. So really nice to see that picked up, and then followed up by a Gnar, another pretty standard pick for this early season. What do you think they'll be picking as jungler? I could see a Jarvan being picked up, but
I think it's gonna be more fighter side. They're picking, both sides picked up fairly tanky top. You might get a second tank jungle, but I'm just supposing it's gonna be more fighter oriented with some mobility.
So they pick up Janna, which is kind of alright, I guess. It's very strange to see them just go straight up for the Janna when Jarvan is such a contested jungler, as we just saw now being picked up immediately because it was left open. But it's... Oh, that's really... I don't know why they go for Janna. I guess they're trying to really counter and engage, probably, but...
I feel like they perhaps have a very strong team in mind for their composition, but they're kind of afraid that maybe someone gets swiped up, as unlikely as it is. So they're taking risk of losing stronger meta champions in order to secure what they want their team to be.
It's gonna be a Malzahar and a Sona picked up. So now we're entering phase 2 of the ban phase. I've never actually seen a much Sona this season, to be honest. It's kind of interesting to see her picked up round 3. Orianna being banned away from Ken. This is a smart ban on Brandeis' side. Like, Ken, pretty overall solid Orianna player, plays a bit of Malzahar. Probably attempting to limit his champion pool a little bit. But Ken, pretty solid player, plays a lot of things.
That's definitely when you see that wider champion pool really benefit. It makes it you a lot harder to ban away champions from, because you have such a wide pool to select from.
Dude, Zim Zhao ban. Season 2, here we come.
When now?
I also have a weird thing in my client where all the summoner spells are like totally to the right for the second team. I don't understand why that's happening.
I have the same thing.
But thank you, Riot, for the great overlay. Quality production, 10 out of 10. I very like not being able to see half the summoner spells in the game.
Which summoners do you want me to lead out to you? I could kind of see them, so I could kind of give a
I could see them too, but like the whole point that they're not there is so weird. Like, why would you do this?
It probably says to do something with the way that their UI auto corrects itself. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Retail games.
So, do you think that Concordia, the big thing I'm seeing off of their side is they're lacking a fair bit of disengage, really. Like, it's there, but it's not as strong as you see on Brandeis' side.
I mean,
like they have...
Ornn in itself does a shit ton of anti-engage with his ultimate, and Sona as well, but I see what you mean there. Like, ooh, both comps locked in. Bane and Maokai. This is a Nivea. And opting for a Nivea, which is interesting. I have not seen Ken play a Nivea in any scrim so far.
I think it's really interesting. Both sides kind of try to push away on each other's pools, to my understanding, and you see a lot of like just the regular strong picks. I know Lowry's always been fairly compatible with most team compositions. She's always been a strong pick. I think Kog'Maw kind of caught me off guard. I don't know if it's one of the strong picks for their ADC, but I don't know if it's targeted too. But I'd rather see a ban that would really much more affect Vayne than that.
So we're gonna head into a little break until we get into games. So we'll be back for game 1 in 3 minutes, and yeah, hang tight, and we'll be back in a little bit. here we go with game 1 of Concordia versus Brandeis. We're gonna have a small invade here. I'm gonna find Maokai mid, but not gonna get much out of it.
It's really interesting to see them push up on the top side because they all stacked up, Brandeis, if you looked in the bot river. Like, they're ready for an invade there.
Generally, try not to go in an invade, but oh, are we gonna see the W over the wall? Is he gonna get him? And the flash and first blood. Kind of unfortunate he had to start W, but it works out. Oh, Maokai actually, interestingly enough, is gonna give a leash with those saplings. Threw a bunch of cats in the bush. I actually, super weird Maokai jungle. I haven't seen much of it this season. I've seen people prefer more fighters like J4, Xin Zhao, and all types of champions like these. Maokai, not so much.
Well, I personally, mind you, I'm not the highest of ranks. I was playing it a little bit earlier. It still seems fairly strong. The engage is pretty strong. You have to rely, though, on a good team composition. The clear's still fairly good.
Especially since they seem they're lacking engage. I guess Maokai is okay, especially if he buys his Righteous Glory early on. But I'll be interested to see what he does throughout the game.
Well, if he's running Undying Grasp, and the one that gives you health over time every time 8 minions or monsters die, that starts making his saplings last a long time in bushes. Like, you could get up to like 70 seconds on, which is gonna be good for you. Have basically damaging wards at one point towards the end of the game.
Here we go, on to Gnar. Gnar's gonna actually eat out of that. No harm done. Gets the ward down. Now, they all know J4 is top. Maokai also clearing his red. A little bit more healthy than we. They're gonna spot each other and actually have a little jungler duel. Weezy actually getting the short end of the stick, but Ken is there to follow up. Cheeky little wall blocks him off. Forcing the flash. The little fox kills him. Unlucky.
So I'm going to ask you a question. We saw that Tristana to pull the W early on to secure that kill. How much is that going to affect her now in lane? Do you think it's going to be a bigger issue until later? But is that a concern?
I still expect Tristana and Sona to dominate this lane as they are currently. Their main goal here is really to shove down that tower and then try and move top lane. But I feel like they have a good setup here with especially Ornn, who could just pretty much lane forever. Ooh, not gonna spot Maokai with that. Very good by Sona actually getting rid of the blasting code. That way Maokai can't vault over the wall, get into the bush and attempt to. That's usually what the support will try and do nowadays, is just get rid of that blasting cone. Like, I could expect to see Maokai try and do the same on the top side. We're gonna have a duel. Ornn actually smacking him. And, meanwhile, mid, Nivea kills another Malzahar. So Concordia all over the map getting the advantages. Wheezy playing his best support 0-3-0-0-3.
Ken's been really doing well with those walls. Every single time Malzahar's tried to push back, he's placing those walls right behind him and getting it up against objects. It's been really beneficial for those ganks.
Yep. Playing Nivea pretty well, even though I've never actually seen him play before. Meanwhile, bot lane, the same turret dominance continues. Probably going to be a stalemate down here until later in the game, when we actually see both ADCs getting called unleashed.
I've got an interesting question for you. So you've played a long time like me. Uh, as you know, this meta is very kind of different. We're seeing ADCs take Kleptomancy as well as Relic Shield or another gold per item. Kind of brings me memories back of Bang playing against S2, S3 when Cage's lucky
My God.
pick.
Not again.
What's your opinion on that? Do you find it's going to be, does it provide an interesting aspect for you, or do you think it's going to slow down games a lot?
I mean, I feel like Rise is continuously trying to nerf that because just the Ezreal stuff is so cheesy. I feel like as the season goes on, everyone's gonna buy stopwatch. like Jarvan just bought a stopwatch, Maokai just bought a stopwatch, and Anivia just bought a stopwatch. They all took the mastery that gets them a stopwatch, so we're gonna see some fiestas. I don't know if you watched LPL. There was one game where they went to turret dive, and literally everyone in the game just stopwatched under the turret.
I remember watching that and just kind of questioning what was going on. It's really interesting though, because it pulls off a one-time use. It's really critical to time that really well. It kind of gives us interesting. It's kind of bullcrap. Everyone hates getting cheesed by that, but it's also really interesting because you have to use it really well.
Yep. Here we go in the top lane. A little scrappy do, but there are tanks. No damage happened, and no damage was given, and then everything returns to farm lane. Top lane is great, this meta.
Yeah. The only issue I see now, though, is that since Boxbox pulled off his ult, he has his flash, but he's going to have to rely on the summoner spell to get out of a sticky situation where he can kind of just gnar his way out and stun them temporarily to peel back. He's kind of a little bit more open now to a gank, even with this Hoppins stuff.
Wheezy's actually posturing bot side. Probably looking to see if the blue is taken, which he warded. Gonna get spot up by... Alright. Beautiful Jarvan stopwatch.
Misclick, man, misclick, come
Gets
on.
pinged out by both teams, not even his own team. Very, very interesting. Interesting gameplay we're witnessing here.
I think what happened was he has a stopwatch right next to his
Yeah, he went to ward.
Yeah, and
Misclick.
The infamous fat finger we all receive.
Which is unfortunate because he just lost 600 gold.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a. It's a very expensive mistake.
Golden Jarvan. Oh, here we go with the Africa ultimate. Ornn gets Gnar down, stuns him up, gonna knock him up also. Holy moly, the damage. He has no mana to go on, but will he flash? Yes, he will. And, goodbye, Gnar.
I don't know if you really noticed, but that timing was basically frame perfect on getting that stun off his pillar. That was
nice.
really impressive.
Wheezy gonna go fight the ward that spotted him going golden. Actually, level advantage on the Maokai. Maokai actually quite behind CS. Mostly those assists coming out to help Wheezy a lot.
I was gonna comment that it's kind of interesting because usually when your jungler stays in jungle for a long time, like a Warwick and stuff, they're really just trying to push those levels out really fast, clearing constantly. But those ganks are really paying off for Wheezy. He got that level advantage, while Maokai isn't much presence in lane at all.
Yep, Maokai is continuously getting forced out of his jungle because his bot lane isn't really in a way to help him right now. And Capture doing a good job of coming with Wheezy to help this invade. Wheezy gonna take that Grump away. Unlucky Maokai. No Grump for you. And the bot lane turret harassment continues. Here we go, Jarvan into the Maokai, but Maokai being Maokai heals up for his entire HP bar.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're playing Maokai, and if the game lasts long, that's a big issue here. Maokai really starts coming out mid-late game. With Undying Grasp giving you 5 health per minute, if you can keep triggering that, eventually you could get up to 400 health heals off of your passive, which is a lot, considering the fact Team Fights just have spells flying everywhere. And to an extent, Concordia also has a lot of AoE. He's going to be healing a lot in those team fights.
Both support just blew their ultimates. Capture looking for a sort of engage onto the Janna, but both of them were full HP, so they just nullified each other with each other's ults. Olas getting a bit chunked out by the Gnar, but there we go with the gank onto bot lane. Capture gonna get flashed engaged on, and he's gonna drop. Para actually gets a weird kind of grab by the root, and
he was
gonna fall
rooted
too.
as he leaped.
Yeah, unfortunate.
What was interesting, actually, what happened up in the top lane wasn't even Arash getting harassed. He tried to engage on Box, but Box backed up, didn't get stunned, and then as soon as Arash was kind of out of options, Box just started throwing boomerangs at him to really punish him.
Here we go. Gonna miss the ultimate.
Box really has to be careful here.
Oh, here we go with another engage onto the mid. Malzahar. Can he get him with the space dust?
No.
Nope. So, Olas, meanwhile, just bullying Gnar out of this lane.
I find it really interesting that Ornn's so dominant over Gnar. You would expect to be a closer matchup, especially since Gnar has that range abuse with his Q. But he's just constantly walking up Arash every time Gnar tries to get some minions and just bellowing fire out of his mouth and really hurting him.
Ornn's like such a weird character in the way that he has an ability like Rumbles where he's able to harass, and at the same time he's like mega tanky.
Right, because it gives that shield. A lot of people really underestimate. That shield can get quite big, actually.
Yep. And we're actually going to see Tristana pick up an eye fairly early on over Vayne.
I find it really interesting, the Sona picking up a Tear of the Goddess, actually, pretty early on.
We've actually been seeing Tear pop up more and more in Korea, mostly. I actually watched Gorilla play Tear of the Goddess Taric. Not that I totally agree with it, but if you're looking
That's quite an interesting combo.
I mean, if you're looking for mana and you want to spam your abilities and keep your ADC healthy,
right.
I guess it's the way to go. I'm gonna steal away this blue buff. That was a really nice contest. Ken set up the wall, made it so only a little choke was able for them to funnel through. He's actually going to block them off again.
That teleport's really being wasted now. They're really going to just miss out on the whole engage.
That TP was wasted. Malkyle was wasted, so that getting in Concordia's favor a lot, that fight.
I think that wall was actually put up right after that teleport, really forcing it not to be followed through on.
Yep, and we're going to see another engage onto Malzahar, who has... He doesn't want to use his flash, he actually doesn't have it up. It's just up now. So, super unfortunate. But even then, I think he probably would have held it.
Ornn might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Nah, he's Ornn. He's never in trouble, dude. This character's ridiculous. He's actually looking to dive him. I don't know if it's gonna work out.
Oh.
Oh!
Wow.
A spike.
Was that the pillar spiking up killing him?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was possible. That's a rough. He was actually kiting him fairly well, but Ornn just pushed him right back onto that.
Both tops exchanging flashes, and top tier is going to drop down. See, this is something that this Concordia team practiced so much during their week at Montreal Esports, well, their weekend at Montreal Esports, and in general leading up to this, is just their mid-game macro game, where they just siege up, take turrets, and really understand their objectives and what they need to do mid-game.
And you could see they're doing very clean roams, you know, like you blink and you'll miss them, all swinging up into a certain direction. They're putting a lot of map pressure.
As a fan of the Korea Master Race, it makes me happy to see people with good macro play.
Macro, I would argue, defeats micro in this game, honestly.
I mean, you could get away in collegiate with having a god player, but really the way the game is shaping up this season, or especially if you want to go far, your macro play is so important. Oh, here we go with an engage on Gnar. Gonna drop solo. Jarvan going in with the ultimate. Tristana getting rooted up on the side. Gonna pick him off with the bomb and the Jarvan damage.
What I'm wondering there is, did Box lack the vision of Anivia?
Yep, they don't have a ward. Here we go again, picking up more kills.
That damage really caught him off guard. He basically hopped into his own death, which is really unfortunate. It really shows how strong the vision game is.
He was trying to get his ultimate up, but I don't think he expected so many people to be there, and Anivia just to blow him up with one E.
Yeah. He was, I think, at 80% towards becoming Mega Gnar.
Yeah, he was
wasn't even
really
that close.
He was really.
But I think
yeah.
he'd even hit reds when he was there. He was probably at 90, 92% when he died.
I think he was expecting to charge it up on the Sona a little bit and then try and go in for an engage, but
I think part of it was missing that hop. If he bounced off of someone, he probably would have had the chance to get it up.
look at the vision right now. This ward was just placed, so Concordia had full reign of their jungle aside from this pink ward. 1, 2. Just overall, look at this vision right now. They know where everyone is. They just saw Vayne go by. They saw who goes mid. They saw who's in the jungle. Really good stuff. Makes me happy seeing good wording, man.
I think that there's a little bit of. I'm noticing Malzahar. If you look at his build, he currently doesn't. He has the slightly magical boots, which is all fine and dandy. But when you're looking at Concordia's side, a lot of them are starting to build up slowly on health and magic resist, even on a few. Magic resist on none of them actually, but those sorcerer shoes you could argue would be really useful right now.
Everyone on Concordia's side is pretty much almost at 2 items. You know, on the side of Brandeis.
You see one full item.
1 full item, some components.
Boots. Some of them have completed boots. And the biggest concern also for Brandeis right now is you have to, when we're looking at the kill spread, it's not just one Concordia Esports member that has a lot of kills. It's so spread out, you really can't build out. It's not like, okay, Nivea's fed, build magic resist.
Oh, here's another dive on the top lane. Just Gnar.
Really good close in on them.
So clean. Gnar unfortunately getting dropped. No flash, no escape. Nothing he could really do there. And that's going to be another turret falling down. And something I didn't actually think about, that Ornn dash plus the Anivia wall, super nasty.
Does it destroy the Anivia wall as well or no?
No, it doesn't look like it. Just
So
access terrain for him to proc it. So
it's kind of like, you remember the OG Vayne Anivia
Yeah.
bot lane troll? It's kind of like that, but actually useful.
So theoretically, Ornn can proc his E knockup on Jarvan terrain as well as Anivia wall. That Maokai engage, I don't know what their goal really was for those games. Just too slow to actually catch anyone out.
Yeah. What's really interesting there that we saw that was really well played out of Ken was putting up that AoE from his ult to really protect Ornn getting out of there.
Weezy actually gonna get super low. They might look for an engage here, but just this Anivia damage. He's gonna have his Mega Gnar.
Good stun.
Malzahar gonna silence him up, and that's gonna be the Anivia egg. Doesn't look like Concordia's gonna be able to answer this.
That was a very good Gnar ult. That was really well timed. We saw that perfectly play out, and that follow up for Malzahar's suppress just to make sure that there's no chance of Anivia really getting away.
Well, living by the skin of his teeth there and getting the Gnar ult out. But this is a really weird timing because Dragon is coming up. Misses a Stona ult. But Concordia really trying to protect this Dragon. They know it's coming up. They know it's something they want. Another Mountain Drake would help them destroy turrets even faster than they already are. And
really help secure that Baron as well. Don't forget, that damage really stacks up.
See, also Brandeis should have capitalized on what they got. They got 2 kills, chunked out Wheezy super hard, so they should have looked there and like, oh wait, we could get this Dragon or at least contest it. But I
think what they really resorted to was just taking on some of that vision around the map. But there's so much on Concordia's side. It's a visual landmine in their jungle. Concordia basically see, for the most part, everything that's going on over there.
Actually, I'm gonna give this red buff over to Gnar. Interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but every time Ornn ults, it's a giant square on the minimap.
Oh, is it?
Which threw me off so much. I was like, what is this red thing on my map? Oh wait, it's Ornn ultimate.
The ram. It's gonna keep clearing that vision up.
Brandy's doing their best to set up pink wards deeper in their jungle, so at least they could have some vision of what's going on and hope to deny. I think they understand that Concordia is looking for the Baron at this point.
So,
here we go again with the Ornn Naka chained into the Sona.
Jack.
We're gonna get
Darn.
silenced, but
I think they're gonna get. See, I think Box was kind of thinking for a split second there. I've got my ability to go Mega Gnar, but he really realized it wouldn't be a good idea. One good thing to note, as they're taking Baron, is Brandeis actually got off that fight. Quite a few of them actually got their first items now and are well on their way to their second.
Gnar has no Mega Gnar. He's gonna get stunned up. Prior Tendo actually diving in there. A bit
really being beneficial.
Jarvan gets the Malzahar. Golden Tree in the backline. He's gonna drop as well, and
they're gonna have to give up Baron now, which is
that might be
really...
Baron.
What would you like them to see? What do you want to see them do with this Baron buff now? They have such a wide array of choices on the map. Do you think there's any lane they should even open up more that they should prioritize? Or is it kind of like up to their own whim?
Well, right now, they could just group up and push down turrets. They have 2 Mountain Drakes, Baron. So, I'd like to see them maybe send Ornn middle and just push up top lane. And Nivea getting the most out of that wall.
They don't even have the ability to punish her. She was basically by herself versus 3, but she just cut them off.
Yeah, he had his team there to back him up also. Just running out of mana, that's really close on having enough mana for that E, but 9-1 in Nivea. Yeah,
so much AoE over on Concordia side too. That really can't be underestimated.
I didn't know Froggen goes to Concordia University, man. Big fan of Froggen.
I think it might be an imposter though. He's not shooting his icicle before the ice ball lands.
Ice ball.
That's how I call it. There's a lot of damage actually coming out of Sona there. I think Sona's one of those champions you really don't expect her damage. She's kind of like Karma Season 5.
Yeah, Karma's still actually pretty good support. Might see her next game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna siege up onto this turret. Using the Ornn to body block the roots. Very well done. Oof, misses the stun.
Gnar's got his ult up. They have to be careful. He's definitely gonna go Mega Gnar. I think this gonna try to jump in.
Good
stun coming out.
Gnar. Oh boy. He's gonna get dunked by J4. And stunned up. I think this might be game.
For sure. And even if it isn't, you have to look at the top lane tower. It's really low. They could just push up top if they don't feel like they can finish it off.
I'm gonna probably go mid now, or actually see what they could get since they have the wave pushing into them.
And their 2 tanks are down over on Brandeis side too. They don't have much front line at all really now. They really can't go back against them. They're gonna be able to end this, honestly.
Yeah, this might be game. And Brandeis might have to make some adjustments for game 2. And Concordia just doing it for the fantasy points right now. Oh, GG's.
The double explosion too.
Yep. The game ended without a result. Oh, well, now alright, thanks for Riot Games. I guess the game ended without a result. Nobody won that game.
I got it, actually.
I won the game. Spectators won. So, we'll be back for game 2 in a little bit. I need to fix my client now. So, BRB. And, we'll